Is it worth it to do a backdoor Roth? If you're a high income earner, you may be wondering that very question. You may be thinking, I can only put $7,000 into a Roth IRA. Why would I want to go to the trouble of setting up a traditional IRA, making a non-deductible IRA contribution, converting that to a Roth IRA, and then reporting both of those on my tax return? It seems like a lot of effort for just a little bit of money to go into a Roth IRA. And if you're wondering that question, I understand. It sounds like it would be a small benefit on the surface. But let's look at some numbers, okay? If you were to make a $7,000 each year backdoor Roth contribution, then you would be getting $7,000 a year into that Roth IRA. And let's assume that you invested it just to track the S&P 500. That you said to yourself, this is my long-term money and I am comfortable with this portion having a higher level of growth and a higher level of risk because this is for my really long-term money. It's my tax-free bucket. And so if you were to earn, on the average, 10% a year, and that's what the S&P 500 has averaged over the last 30 years, 10.04% on average, then at the end of 10 years, you'd have $123,000 in that Roth world. At the end of 20 years, that would have compounded to $443,000. You would have put $7,000 a year for 20 years, $140,000 of your money into the Roth IRA, using that backdoor Roth strategy if you had to, and that would have grown to $443,000. That means you have $303,000 of gain that is not taxable. You can pull that money out with no tax if you're 59 and a half or older and you've had a Roth IRA for 5 years or longer. And so if you paid 25% income tax on that gain, if it were in a traditional IRA to compare, then you would be paying $75,000, $76,000 of income tax. Whereas since it's in the Roth, you're saving that tax. You have just saved yourself $76,000 of income tax down the road. Now let's say you don't make any more contributions, but you allow it to continue to grow. So after another 10 years, it has grown to $1,153,000. And of that, $1,013,000 is your gain. And if you save 25% in income tax on that, that's $253,000 saved. That's a lot of tax savings. And if you let it continue to grow for another 10 years, then it grows to be $3 million. And of that, $2.8 million is your gain, and thus you save over $700,000 if you're saving in the 25% bracket. Your tax savings could be even more. You might be in a higher tax bracket, or tax rates could go up in the future. So again, your tax savings could be even more. But the key is that by going to the trouble of making that backdoor Roth contribution, you are setting yourself up to have tax-free growth in the future and tax-free income. You're saving a lot of taxes down the road, a lot of income taxes. Now, what if you only made 7%? What if you said, I'm not comfortable with it being all in the market. I want something that's more of a 60-40 type portfolio. Well, after 20 years, it would have grown to $307,000. You would have $167,000 of gain. And if you're saving tax at the 25% tax bracket, then $41,000 of tax savings. That's still a lot of tax savings. And so that is the reason that I think it can be worth it to look at this as a strategy that you would do for yourself. Now, in the next couple of videos, I'm going to talk about some of the tricky things that you need to be aware of so that you don't get tripped up on this. So be sure and subscribe so you don't miss those, because I want you to be on your best path for retirement.